There is a silence before dawn. The kind of silence that feels heavier than night itself. It is the pause where the world seems to wait, holding its breath, before light dares to touch the horizon. That silence does not break by accident. It is Aurora who breaks it. Aurora is the goddess of dawn. To the Greeks she was Eos, the rosy-fingered goddess sung by Homer. To the Romans she was Aurora, the one who opens the gates of the east. She is not the sun, nor the moon. She is the one who comes first, the one who clears the path, the one who turns the key that unlocks the day. Her palace stands at the very edge of Oceanus, the great river that was thought to circle the world. Each evening, when darkness falls, she withdraws there to rest. Each morning, while mortals still sleep, she rises from her bed of cloud and dew. She bathes in the waters of light, robes herself in saffron and pink, and crowns her hair with strands of fire. When she steps out, the doors of her palace swing open, and the first colors of morning spill across the sky. Waiting for her are her horses, Lampos and Phaethon, restless and gleaming. Their manes shimmer like flames, and their hooves strike sparks against the marble floor. She takes the reins, steps into her chariot, and with a command the horses leap forward. The sky itself seems to tear open as they run, spreading gold, rose, and violet across the heavens. Wherever her wheels pass, darkness dissolves. Birds stir in their nests. The first fires are lit in hearths. The first shadows lengthen across the ground. Aurora has arrived, and the world wakes again. But Aurora is not only a goddess of light and beauty, she is also a goddess of longing. In every tale told of her, there is not only radiance but also sorrow. Aurora was once wed to Astraeus, the god of dusk. Together they ruled the threshold between day and night. From their union came the winds, Boreas of the north, fierce and icy, Notus of the south, heavy with storm, Eurus of the east, wild and unpredictable, and Zephyrus of the west, gentle and kind, the bringer of spring. Each of them carried their mother's restless nature. They were never still, never content to remain in one place. They swept across mountains and seas, over fields and oceans, always moving, always changing. Through them, Aurora's spirit was felt in every corner of the world. Aurora was also said to be the mother of the stars, her children shining in the night sky after she had gone to rest. Yet Aurora herself was never content to remain in the arms of dusk. Her heart wandered, and her eyes turned often to the world of mortals. She loved them with a passion that gods rarely dared to feel, and she loved them at great cost. One of her first loves was Orion, the great hunter. His strength and beauty caught her eye, and she carried him to her bed. But love between gods and mortals is rarely free of danger. Some say Artemis, jealous or protective, struck Orion down with her bow. Others say a great scorpion rose from the earth to slay him. However it happened, Orion's death left Aurora in mourning. When she rose to the sky, her tears colored the morning red. Even today, some say that dawn's crimson glow is Aurora's grief for the hunter she could not keep. But her longing returned, and with it came another love, one that shaped her story more than any other. His name was Tithonus, a prince of Troy, the brother of King Priam. Aurora saw him and was overcome with desire. She carried him away to the edge of the earth, and she begged Jupiter to grant him immortality so that he might never die. Jupiter agreed. But Aurora, blinded by her passion, forgot to ask for eternal youth. And so Tithonus lived forever, but he did not remain young. His hair turned white, his back bent. His voice grew thin, yet death never came. Aurora watched as the man she loved withered, yet endured. His body weakened until he could no longer stand. His words became the broken sound of age without end. In some versions of the tale, Aurora, unable to bear his decay, shut him away in a hidden chamber. In others, she transformed him into a cicada, a grasshopper whose endless chirping is said to be the voice of Tithonus. living forever but never renewed. This story became one of the most enduring warnings of myth, that immortality without youth is no blessing but a curse. And Aurora, radiant though she was, carried the sorrow of that mistake for all time. Still, every morning she rose, her duty was eternal. No matter her grief, no matter her heartache, she opened the gates of heaven for Sol, her brother, the sun. With her rosy fingers she unbarred the sky, and Sol's blazing chariot followed in her path. Behind them, Luna, the pale sister of night, withdrew into her cave. And thus the cycle was kept: Aurora, Sol, and Luna, the eternal rhythm of light and darkness. Yet even in her devotion her heart wandered. Aurora's longing for mortal love returned. She fell for Cephalus, a hunter already bound to his wife Procris. Aurora carried him to her bed, but when he begged to return, she let him go. Yet she planted a seed of doubt. She whispered that Procris might not be faithful. That doubt consumed him, and in the end, it led to tragedy. Cephalus killed his wife by accident, mistaking her for an animal while she spied on him in the woods. His story, though his own, was forever linked with Aurora's name. Aurora also bore a son by Tithonus, the warrior Memnon. He became king of the Ethiopians, famed for his beauty and strength. When the Trojan War raged, he came to aid his people, clad in shining armor. He fought bravely, but he fell by the hand of Achilles. Aurora's grief was endless. As Memnon's body burned on the pyre, she wept so fiercely that her tears fell as dew upon the earth. Even today, the morning dew is sometimes called the tears of Aurora for her fallen son. Yet despite her grief, Aurora never failed in her duty. Each day she rose. Each day she harnessed her chariot. Each day she opened the gates for the sun. She carried the burden of loss, but she did not let it break her task. The world could not wait, and she would not let it. In the poems of Homer she is called rosy-fingered and saffron-robed. In Hesiod, she is ever young, ever beautiful, clothed in the colors of the morning. In Rome she is Aurora, radiant yet sorrowful, the goddess who never stops loving and never stops losing. She remains a figure of beginnings. Every dawn is hers, every new day her gift. When the sky glows red, it is her hand drawing back the curtain of night. When dew shines on the grass, it is her grief remembering those she lost. When the winds shift across the earth, it is her children moving in her name. Aurora is not a goddess of comfort. She is a goddess of inevitability. She comes whether mortals are ready or not. She comes in silence, in beauty, and in sorrow. And she will continue to come as long as there is a world to wake. Aurora's myth is not only a story of beauty and loss. It is also a symbol. Myths are not meant to remain on the page. They are living mirrors. To speak of Aurora is to speak of time, of renewal, and of how human beings face what cannot be stopped. The Greeks called her Eos, sister to Helios and Selene. In Homer's epics, she is rosy-fingered dawn, a phrase repeated again and again like a heartbeat. Warriors fall, cities burn, but dawn always returns. The repetition is deliberate. It reminds us that life is fragile, yet the cycle endures. Dawn was not just light to the Greeks. It was a presence, a goddess entering the sky. The Romans inherited her as Aurora. They did not build vast temples to her, but they wove her into daily life. For Rome, dawn meant resilience. No matter what battles were lost, or what triumphs were won, the next morning would still belong to her. She became the quiet assurance that time moves forward, whether mortals are ready or not. Aurora is intimate. She is not remote like Jupiter on his throne. She appears every day where all can see her. Even now, when we say dawn breaks, we are echoing her myth without knowing it. She was worshipped not with sacrifices, but with the simple act of opening one's eyes at first light. Philosophically, she embodies the discipline of beginning again. Marcus Aurelius urged himself each morning to rise and do the work of a human being, not to linger in bed. Though he does not name her, Aurora is there. The reminder that the day has begun, that life demands action, that time waits for no one. Psychologically, she represents resilience. Her stories are filled with grief. Orion slain, Tithonus aging without end, Cephalus lost to tragedy, Memnon killed at Troy. Yet despite sorrow she rises. She does not erase her pain, she carries it. Her tears become dew, nourishing the earth even as they mark her loss. This is amor fati, the love of fate. To accept not only joy but also sorrow as part of the order of things. The tragedy of Tithonus adds another layer. Aurora's passion won him immortality, but she forgot to ask for youth. He lived forever, but only as a shadow of himself. The lesson is clear. Endless survival is no blessing without vitality. For the Stoics, life was not measured by length, but by virtue. Seneca wrote that life is long if it is lived rightly. Aurora's mistake becomes a warning against clinging to existence without purpose. Her mourning for Memnon deepens this truth. Even the most radiant and noble fall to death. Yet her grief does not freeze the world. It becomes dew on the grass, part of life's renewal. Suffering destroys, but it also feeds. Tears can water the seeds of the future. In poetry, Aurora often appears at thresholds, before battles, before journeys, at turning points. She is not the event itself, but the signal that change is coming. Dawn is liminal, a space between night and day, past and future. To stand in dawn is to stand on a threshold, and thresholds are sacred. Even today, we feel this. Dawn affects mood, frames the day, and reminds us that time moves only forward. To see the sunrise is to face the truth of impermanence, that each day ends and each day begins again. Aurora does not promise comfort. She does not erase sorrow. She promises only that tomorrow will come. That inevitability is both harsh and merciful. She is beauty and discipline, tenderness and relentlessness. She shows that the world will not wait and that we must rise with it. To look at Aurora is to see a mirror of ourselves, to rise again even with grief in hand, to release what must pass, to honor time's rhythm, both cruel and kind. Aurora is not far away. She is as close as the first light on the horizon, the eternal reminder that every ending carries within it a beginning. And if you want to see how the myths of gods and mortals still speak to us today, not only as stories of the past, but as mirrors for the present, stay with Totem Vox. The dawn will keep rising. And so will the questions.